I'm Jim Cornette, and I just wonder if any of you are sick and tired as I am of people who claim to be the icon of wrestling. Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper claim to be the icon. Shawn Michaels is the icon that can still go. Bret Hart would claim to be the icon if he wasn't too busy crying about being screwed. And I guess Randy Savage is still thinking. Well, Shawn Michaels is still the single most talented athlete in wrestling today inside the ring. But outside, he's an adolescent, obnoxious jerk who takes his tights and goes home if he doesn't get his way. Bret Hart is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but if he'd have been screwed as many times as he claims, he'd have struck oil by now. And Randy Savage is a legend, but let's face it, how many records did Frank Sinatra sell last year? But the pinnacle of this icon garbage came at last night's cage match between Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper to determine in their minds only who the real icon is. WCW had the gall to say this is the greatest cage match in history when it was only the greatest in 3 weeks since Hell in a Cell. But here you've got a 46-year-old bald movie star wannabe who looks like Uncle Creepy with a good build taking on a guy with an artificial hip that hadn't wrestled a full schedule in 10 years. It's a tribute to the massive egotism in my mind of both men and an indictment of WCW's promotional policies that this match even took place, much less being the main event when the card was probably the best that WCW is capable of having. By the 10-minute mark, they were sucking wind so bad the first 3 rows passed out of oxygen deprivation. It would have been funny if it wasn't so sad. Well, I'm sick and damn tired of hearing guys claim to be the icon, especially when it usually comes from guys who just didn't know when to quit. Roddy Piper was my idol when I was a teenager, but that was 20 years ago. Hulk Hogan during his best years was 50% media creation, and those are long gone. This match was a slap in the face to every wrestler that takes pride in his profession. And in my mind, no one man is bigger than this sport. But if there is an icon, it would be a man who has great ability inside the ring and professionalism and maturity outside of it. Let's leave all the petty backstabbing, I make more money than you BS with the hat check girl and concentrate on talent and attitude. The Undertaker, Ric Flair, and Steve Austin have never claimed to be icons, which means they're big candidates to be just that. And on a personal note to Hulk Hogan, you are a household word, but so is garbage, and it stinks when it gets old too. I'm Jim Cornette, and that's my opinion.
We had a whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight, but I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house, and when I say who's
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Comprehension of this edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetarian like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
What's up, everybody? It is Ring Time Pro Wrestling. Keith and Keisha are in the building. Keisha, say hi to the people.
Hey! Welcome to the show, everybody. We're excited to have you, and I'm excited to have you. You know, it's whatever. So, like, hey, you know, good morning, evening, and afternoon.
We are mother freaking live! Yeah, okay. So, after like 2 years under this format of Spreaker, we finally figured out we can run a live show, right? Well, pretty much I finally figured out how to use all the technology. Well, it actually worked for me this time. Last times it didn't work. So, yeah, I can fire shots, Keith.
Lord help me.
I can ring bells. I can thunder, lightning. I got laugh tracks.
I ain't dealing with you.
I got applause.
So you just got all kinds of stuff, huh?
Yes, and guess what? I got a freaking chat room again. So people, y'all can jump in the chat room. Y'all can send messages. Y'all can ask questions. It goes live. It is here. Ring Time Pro Wrestling. Keish. It's been a hell of a week in wrestling. We would have came to y'all Wednesday, but I had to sleep. And I was doing a lot of cooking. Keish was doing a lot of stuff. And pretty much, we didn't even discuss a show until yesterday. Now, the beauty of doing a show with your family member is that you will see them on the actual holiday, and you can say, hey, man, you want to do a show? And they can be like, yay. Or they can be like, nah, man, you see how much I ate.
Right. So you was going to go, yeah, we can do that, or it's going to go, not at all. So.
You know, I wanted to bring the equipment and record yesterday, but it was a house full of people. And plus, y'all have heard us nod off on this show before, so y'all didn't need to know how bad that was going to be with all the food we ate. Yes,
Yeah, I think if we would have did that, then there would have been a show. It would have been more like me both snoring. Like, it just would have been horrific. Because I was out of it by 7 o'clock. So I know I wouldn't have made it. Like, neither one of us would have been any good. But you know what's funny? I think that everybody would have completely understood way more than any other time. Like, that would have been like, oh, well, you know, it was Thanksgiving, so I'm pretty sure. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they done both ate, and yeah, that's how that happened. So,
yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of podcasts could have phoned it in. We give it to you, and we coming in this week working.
Right.
We got heat for you. Because we got to recap. Look, man, NXT TakeOver, Survivor Series.
That's right.
We got to go all the way down. So let's get into this TakeOver. You know what I'm saying? Because I like TakeOver. You know what I mean? And, okay, I'm not going to say TakeOver was better than Survivor Series this year, but you got to love TakeOver, Keish.
I do.
There's never a bad time for TakeOver.
TakeOver was greatness. I honestly can say this year, like, this time around, TakeOver and Survivor Series, kind of equal. You know, kind of equal. You know what I'm saying? But TakeOver was awesome. I enjoyed every second of it. There was not a moment that I wanted to turn away. So, yeah. I'm with you on that one. TakeOver, dude. Especially at the beginning. Like, from the beginning, I was had. Okay? Let's just put it like that. I was had from the start. So, because they didn't just start the show off. They started the show off, like, with a, like... What's the word for bang that's like way better than that?
Explosion. Okay, no, that's different than a bang, right? Because that's taking it above a bang, right? So that's taking it above a bang. We'll go with bang. No, it was explosion. Look, bro, NXT is doing it big. I mean, gigantic with the entrances.
Right.
Because, all right, so Bobby Roode, right? When we did TakeOver a few months ago in Dallas, we was like, yo, that is the shit.
Exactly.
Because he did it. Like, and it's like, all right. And I didn't expect him to top it. But when that choir was like, glorious, I was like, yo, this is so serious. This is so serious.
Right, exactly. He didn't just use, like, any kind of choir. Like, these were kids. Not like little kids, but, you know, kids. You know what I'm saying?
It was, here's the thing. It was a very diverse choir. I mean, it was, like, for my taste, I would have liked the Mississippi Mass Choir.
I'm not dealing with you. But it would have been awesome. Like,
I will be hiring.
I'm not gonna lie about that.
Who I will hire if I hit this Powerball, boy. I'm telling you, that's who I'm hiring to sing in front of my new crib. Cause I tell you, if I hit the Powerball, Keisha, you know what's going down. I'm getting a band and a choir, and I gotta have a band with the choir because I need the band to get the music cranking, and they go sing "We Moving On Up." As the movers moving to my new house, that is going down.
But like, why do I want to do this for my birthday? Like, I want the robe and everything. Like, I literally just want all of that. And every time I walk in the room, like, I want to walk in the room to this. Like, I seriously just I really just want to walk around the entire day. Just like that, like there's just for it, like that to be the only reason, like no other reason whatsoever. That is the only reason. Like, I just seriously just want to just enter every single door with this kind of entrance. Like,
I mean, here's the thing.
That Takeover Dallas was the light and him coming down from the heavens. Like, it was just kind of like, okay, there's no way. And then he does this.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You know my belief about this. I personally would like theme music in life.
Right.
Like, I feel like when I come to work, when I pop off the elevator, my interest music should hit. That is my belief. Now, of course, I would change it accordingly to what's going on. Just like, hey, man, if I had an interview, you know I would have evolution. I'd have line in the sand, and I'd be walking in with my suit. You know what I mean? Just like a revolution. I'm telling you, I think it would boost my confidence, and it would have me very effective for the interview. Or just when I'm ready for work. Hey, man, look, it would tell you how to deal with me. Just like if you hear the Undertaker music, don't fuck with me today. This is not the day that you should even try to talk to me.
Exactly.
But
like, no, you don't hear that? Like, no.
And bruh,
don't go talk to the Keith. Don't talk to Keith.
Payday Friday, when that direct deposit hit, that Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm telling you, I've got music for every situation. It just we're just wrestling themes.
Right.
Just like when I hit the gym, get ready to work out, go ahead, hit some of that John Cena. My time is now, bro. It's going down. Or I'll even go old school. Get some basic thugonomics out here.
Man.
Which he does not give any thug or economics lessons in that song, but that's okay.
Right. No one ever gives that song credit, by the way. And I'm like, seriously? How could you not? Like,
okay. Here's it. I'm going to tell y'all a dirty secret. And y'all can fight me if y'all want to. And then we're going to get back to this takeover. That John Cena rap album is fucking cold. You can fight me if you want to. But I bet you don't listen to that album like, oh shit, who is this? If I don't tell you it's John Cena and I take out the My Time Is Now theme song, you like, yo, who is this dude spitting? This shit is cold. And it's freaking John Cena. You laughing at me. Look, I'm going to play, but at the end of this show, I'm going to tag on Be Easy with him, Freddie Fox, who's a freaking legend, and his cousin John Cena cousin Trademark, and Cena.
right.
Let me tell you something. Cena can't make another album because that shit is not PG. Like, and that beat is so cold. It was like, boom, doom, doom. I'm like, oh shit, this is some 90s East Coast. Anyway, I digress. Because the album is fucking cold. I don't care. You can say whatever you want.
There's gonna be, I guarantee you, there's gonna be there's at least 10 people right now that definitely want to fight you. They're like, no, Keith, just why? And I'm not saying a word, okay? I'm not just, nope, because I haven't heard it, so I can't sit here and disagree or not, agree or disagree. Like, I can't be the one to be like, hey, Keith, come on now, for real, John Cena. I'm not doing it. Considering the ratchet stuff that I listen to sometimes, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. So,
yeah,
personally, I feel like if you listen to somebody like, what is this dude's name? Little Yachty? That is the worst fucking name, first of all. If you listen to somebody like that, you have no room to judge John Cena. Like, zero. Like, just...
Well, no, I'm not even going to get into that because that gets into a thing about lyrics and beats and rhymes and all that. Keith, you just don't know.
No, I'm not even taking it that far, Keith. Like, it's not even, like, that deep. It's literally, like, a surface thing. Like, just, period. Like, no. Because at least I'll give it this much. At least I understand John Cena's words. Like I know what he's saying. That's it. That's about as far as I'm going with it. But I digress. So anyway, because I'm just a diehard wrestling fan. Forget it. Like, just don't even with me. All right, for real, we're gonna get back to Takeover now. Okay.
Yeah. So we back. Okay. So the first match is Bobby Roode against the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, and I feel bad for Ty Dillinger, right?
I do too.
In a sense that I feel like he's never gonna get that. Well, I'm gonna say never, because here's the thing. This is what I will say for Ty Dillinger. He still remains like relevant, and he still remains like, how I say this, people still want to rock with Ty.
Right.
Irregardless.
This is true.
And he's credible enough to help these dudes come in and get that first win, and people rock with him.
Right.
And I don't know how long that's going to last. But right now, he's doing it.
People love him.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And it's crazy because as much as he's gone through, no one still there. I haven't seen any kind of lack in the love for him. You know how someone loses and like the more that they lose, more the people are kind of like, all right, boo, this person sucks. Like, that has not happened with him. Not at all. Like, not even a little bit. He has the full support of the crowd and the fans, which I love because I feel like it's a constant motivator for him, but at the same time, I just hate what's happening to him. It really sucks. Like, when it comes to the actual like Takeover pay-per-views, like I just don't understand. You know, like it makes me question what are they doing with him, like as a whole. Because when you see him on NXT, like, it's awesome. But then when you get to the Takeover pay-per-views, like, okay. like, I really question why this is happening the way that it is. And I actually was rooting for Ty, but I think that deep down inside, I just knew that it was going to be all Bobby Roode. So, but it was a great and competitive match nonetheless. So, I give that to both men, especially Ty. He did keep up with Bobby. And the match was equally fought. I don't feel like there was a total dominance in the entire thing, but it was a awesome show of athleticism between the two men. So, God, man, I'm starting to sound like a commentator.
No, I mean, yeah, I thought it was a good match. I thought both of them did their job. It accomplished what it needed to accomplish, right? Like, Ty Dillinger didn't leave the match looking like a scrub. Bobby Roode got over. Who, man, watching these TNA guys in the WWE further shows the ineptitude of TNA. But, like, not even just, like, main roster situations like AJ Styles. Because, look, AJ Styles was considered the best wrestler in the world for a very, very long time, right? Or in the conversation. Right. Let's put it like that. Let's put it in the conversation. And the idea was like, wow, I wish the WWE would have took this turn like 3 years ago. Could you imagine AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan in a WWE ring? Like, I'm pretty sure the matches happen
like floored.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the matches happen in ROH. But the thing about the things like that happen at ROH, they were like 10 years ago.
Right.
And these dudes that got 10 years better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So CM Punk might still be wrestling. If you had like AJ Styles or CM Punk in the WWE for the world title, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, which is probably coming soon. I mean, it's some things that's coming down the pike. It's like, wow, this stuff is going to be amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which makes this all that much more exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Like, it's for those that have been following certain wrestlers through the indies and through TNA, you know, and now seeing these exact same wrestlers in WWE and NXT, you know, like on the main roster and NXT exclusive, like together, like now that the dream matches that they had thought to have are now a possibility.
Right.
Or the matches they've seen in the indies are now a possibility on a WWE stage.
No.
Like,
no.
It's just greatness. To even have that possibility wide open like that. So, it's just good. To me, it's a waiting game for a lot of it. It's just a waiting game. Like, yes. Are we finally finna get to see this? This is going to be awesome. So, but I think that I personally, considering that I've always been, like, I've been following Bobby Roode for, like, a long time. For a very long time. And to see how he is now in NXT, like, I am thoroughly impressed and amazed at the way that they've been handling him, like, period. So, I'm not gonna lie, Keith. I can't wait to see, like, him come out on, like, Raw or SmackDown with that ring entrance and the robes. Like, where can you find these robes? Is it even possible to get one of those, or do you just have to, like...
No, I mean, they're made. Now, generally, most of those robes are made by somebody, like, specific. Like, this is a designer that makes robes for people.
Right.
Flair had his own personal robe person. I'm not even sure if that same person does a lot of the other robes. Because, you know, Charlotte's robes are very Flair-esque.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you gotta remember, too, WWE has a in-house crew now. So they've got people and seamstresses and people like that that actually put stuff together. So I wouldn't be surprised if all that stuff is made in-house. I would try to get it made in-house as opposed to going out spending like $3,000 on robes. Because I'm pretty sure they cost like a couple. You know, Flair was spending $3,000 on robes in the 80s. So I'm pretty sure those robes... Yeah, I'm saying, I'm just pretty sure those robes are expensive as hell in 2016.
Right.
So, that's where I would go with that. The authors are paid. With Paul Ellering defeated TM61 to win the Dusty Tag Team Classic. Paul Ellering was suspended above the ring in the shark cage. Which, you will wonder, why does Paul Ellering need to be suspended above a cage to avoid interference in a match with two monsters, right?
Right. Exactly.
But here's the thing, Keith. I saw a commercial right before the pay-per-view. They slinging shark cages. For real. Like, it was that quick. It was like, yo... we gonna throw this cage up because we got this toy dropping. And I mean, it was like the most blatant thing I've ever seen. It was like, yo, we gotta move this toy. So yeah, this cage is going up.
Right. Because that's the question that I had. I was like, okay, first of all, we're talking about suspending Paul Ellering in a cage above the ring so that he don't help a team like these two dudes, like, these dudes are like huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge.
Yeah, cause
Like it take it take both members of TM61 to make one of them. Like, are you serious?
Yeah,
like,
I mean they block out the sun big. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of them like when you see them, it's like, oh wow, I know why that dude invented the pistol. Yep, pretty much. This is why pistols were invented. Yep.
Exactly. Like, seriously?
Yeah, like if this dude decide that he want your cookies, this is the best way for you to take care of this because you can't fight. That's not gonna go. Hear me.
Right. Like, I was just done. It was a great question that I had too, because I was like, is that really necessary? But, you know, because the last time that I can remember a person being suspended above the ring in a cage so that they don't interfere in a match was what, China? Like, I mean,
yeah,
seriously.
a lot of people did it outside. Nobody really suspended above the cage is more of an '80s novelty. Like I gotta go back to like Jim Cornette doing it. You know what I mean? But here's the thing,
right?
They still cheated.
Exactly.
He was still able to drop the chain down. Like y'all give him a pat down before he went in the cage. So he still cheated, and everybody saw it. Wrestling is kind of funny too because like the ref doesn't see the cheating happens, and then in an event where the executives and officials come out afterward, and they just like, oh well, y'all won.
Right. That's
do that. And no matter what.
And that's the thing that I always, I for years and years and years and years, I always said that it's a question that I have always been asked in my mind. Like, you mean to tell me, you're trying to tell me that nobody saw that? Like, the commentators saw it, the people in the back watching saw it, everybody in the audience saw it. But you mean to tell me, you as one person, and these officials and everybody else, and the rest, no one saw it. Like, y'all didn't see that. Okay. Like, okay. Like, you know what? I'm going to sit here and pretend with you. Let's do that. Because then it makes me happier. It makes me happier. Because you're right. He throws a chain, they cheat. And then, like, Triple H and William Regal, they come out so that they can congratulate the team. Like, it's like, but y'all were standing in the back. Even though the rest didn't see it, y'all were standing in the back. You implemented this rule in the first place so that this doesn't happen. And then you don't even say anything. You just come out and you're just kind of like, hey, congratulations. Like, really? Hey, if it works for you, it works for me. I guess. I don't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah, that's all. If you like it, I love it, right? But
right.
I mean, we could go with that. But yeah, they took care of that. I enjoyed the entire pay-per-view. But
right.
To me, head over heels match of the night. DIY taking on the Revival. Right?
Glad we agree on.
I love anything the Revival is in. I would tell you how good the Revival is. They got Jim Cornette watching they matches. He don't watch no more wrestling, really. But he fucks with they matches. I mean, when I see them, I think Arn and Tully. I think old school Midnight Express. And a lot of people, when they talk about it, it's like...
Right.
I don't know. You go to the WWE Network, plug in Midnight versus Rock and Roll. I don't care if it's Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton or if it's Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, which is my favorite incarnation. Some people like Dennis Condrey. I think y'all just hate because Stan Lane knew karate. But, you know, it was just a different kind of guy. But Cornette, the Midnight Express, Big Bubba Rogers, a.k.a. the Big Boss Man, that's like my clique right there. Check some of that out. Check out anything Arn and Tully or Arn and Ole. Because Arn and Ole, the Anderson, I'll put it like this. Now, I wasn't around for Ole and Gene Anderson. That's a little bit before my time. But they say they was cold. I don't think the network got a lot of that. You probably have to Google that on the YouTubes. But I know Arn and Ole were cold. I mean, and they did the classic stuff. Here's the thing. Dash and Dawson aren't the biggest guys. But they do a style of wrestling that I think will always work. They do crisp tag team wrestling. They do smart wrestling. And they do things where they cheat, but it's not even really cheating. You know what I mean? Like, they get the ref in the wrong spot and then get him caught up so they can do their double team. They do things that's deceptive. They're like, oh, it looked like the ref really could have missed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
As opposed to, like, the shit being blatant and the ref, like, gotta, like, keep his head turned for, like, 20 seconds. You know, like, it just... I saw something in New Japan, like an old New Japan show yesterday that kind of threw me off. I was like, and they were like, the commentators pointed it out. It was just like, yeah, I mean, that you got to either be in on it or, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the thing, like, fans, we know this is fake, right? Not fake.
Right.
I got to stop using it. Because that's the thing. It burns my butts. Fake is like the worst thing to say about this thing. It's not fake. Because when people walk out with real broken necks, I can't call it fake. The outcomes are predetermined. Sometimes you got to allow people to not think about that.
Right.
Now, that being said, you have to protect the business. You got to protect different aspects of the business, like finishers. You can't be kicking out of everybody finisher. And everybody can't do that all the way up the card. But, you know, that's a different rant for me to go through. Dash and Dawson, the point is Dash and Dawson protect the business. They protect the integrity of... I'm trying to watch a real competition. They're trying to do anything to win, and they're smart about it.
Right.
DIY, classic baby faces, easy to root for. You know their story. They came up from the indies. They came from the grind. I remember when Ciampa, remember when the injury reports were going around on Ciampa, and he like, look, y'all stop telling people I'm hurt. I got WWE trial next week. Y'all better stop doing that bullshit. You know what I mean?
No, right. Exactly.
It was, you watch these guys come up. You watch them both try to figure it out. And that was this whole thing. Like, it was like they kept getting close, but they couldn't turn the corner. And it's really both of these guys trying to figure out what is the next step. How do we get over on this thing? And like, they finally put it all together at Takeover. They finally put it over at Takeover. And it was 2-1. They went down 0-1 the first fall, won the second fall. And then that third one, man, it was compelling. It is hard to do a 2 out of 3 falls match and make it compelling.
It is. Yeah. But then once you make it a tag team match, to me, I think that's what added that extra element to make it the match of the night. Like, we're talking 2 out of 3 falls between 4 different people. like it was heart-wrenching. That is the word I will use for that, because every second of that match that I watched, I was jumping. Like, oh, like I was waiting. I was jumping. And I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for DIY all the way. Like, I was, because I loved Ciampa and Gargano. I don't think many people realize, like, how awesome they really are. I mean, the Revival is greatness, and I actually am fans of theirs too. So this match to me was incredible in itself, in the sense that these are two, I mean, just absolutely incredible teams that should have been placed together in the ring. Like, there's no question that they should have faced each other, period. And then to make it a 2 out of 3 falls match just was like the best move. I mean, the best. I enjoyed every second of this match in its entirety. Like, period. Every fall, every single action that came up to it, every mistake that was made, you know, between tag team members, and just it was greatness. Like, I was enthused throughout the entire thing, and I think that's how matches should be, and especially if they're going to be match of the night contenders, like, just period. Because, you know, you got some matches that you just know, like, okay, this is not going to happen. like this is not going to go well. But then there's some that, like, that just have that potential, like, yeah, like, I know this is going to be awesome. So, but I was excited. I was excited.
Now for the championship phase, I mean, because there's all the titles here. Asuka defeats Mickie James in a very solid 13-minute match.
Yes,
I thought Mickie looked good. It was refreshing to see her back. The crowd responded to her a little bit, but I think you can tell it was definitely a pro Asuka crowd.
Right. Yeah.
But Asuka did her thing. Still looking brutal. Still looking unstoppable. I think she's gonna be one of the people who come to the main roster as champ, and then just got to, like, release the belt. They got to have a tournament or something in NXT, because it's like they nobody gonna. I mean, here's the thing: she might drop the belt to Ember Moon. Like, that'd
be the closest.
That's where I can see that, and I think that collision course is gonna be amazing.
Right.
And a shocker to me. Samoa Joe defeated, you know, my favorite wrestler in all this, Shinsuke Nakamura. Joe is now a 2-time champ in NXT. And NXT hasn't really been big on 2-time champs, but lately that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think they, I want to say, in my own mind, like, it's a history thing, you know? With NXT, they've created a history, you know? So I think that they just want to continue that. And the way and that they hadn't had yet was a 2-time champ for the NXT title. So, of course, with Joe, there you go.
Well, one of the reasons is the trajectory, right? This is what usually happens. You win the belt. You defend the belt. You roll with the belt for a minute, then you lose the belt, you go for a rematch, you lose the rematch, main roster. That is usually the format. But I think maybe they're taking some of that out of it so it just won't be so obvious. Like,
what's going to happen next?
Yeah, like, I'm just not booking you to say, hey, I know you're going to go to the main roster after this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now that they don't have to do it like that, they'll probably figure they'll get over better this way. Not always in agreement, but I understand.
I get it. Right. I get it wholeheartedly. Yeah.
But Joe defeated Nakamura. I thought it was a good match. It was compelling. You know, my standards for a match. I've got to feel like everybody got a shot at winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the near fall only means something when it's like, oh, I think it's over. Like, I think he's pinned, and it doesn't happen.
Right. So.
But, yeah. Now, this could be the thing, too. Because we saw this with American Alpha. American Alpha was the ones that shot to the main roster.
Right.
As opposed to Revival. Like, why did they drop the belt so quick? Well, they was going to the main roster. I don't know if that's the same with Nakamura. But
Personally, I mean, honestly, I don't think so. But, you know, with this whole NXT main roster thing, like, you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really just don't know, like, what they plan to do with a person or a tag team or whatever, because there's been times where we have seen people get moved to the main roster that has never won a title, you know, in NXT. So
yeah, true. That's 100% true. There's the people who have never done anything, and they end up not saying not done anything, but they didn't win the title, and they got pushed to the main roster.
So I mean, you really just never know.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out. Because I think Joe's about due, right? Like I would have to get Joe to the main roster. That would be my goal. My goal would be getting Joe to the main roster.
Right. I feel like within the next couple of months or so, that's probably going to be the case. I really want to say after Royal Rumble.
Right.
And because I'm guaranteed, I'm pretty sure there's going to be another takeover at that time. So I would say after Royal Rumble, like, that's exactly when that's going to happen. Hell, for all we know, it could happen at the Royal Rumble. like he can be on Takeover one night and then the Royal Rumble the next. So
yeah, there's
no telling how that goes. But seriously, like it is. I see it coming. I feel it coming. I really don't think that. I think that Joe will go before Nakamura, but you know, you never know because we could be watching Raw and SmackDown next week, and it'd be a totally different situation. So it's something we'll have to just wait for, but I have no patience. Like, I have no patience these days for this kind of stuff. Like, it's like, okay, just do it. Just just do it already. Because you know, these are some of our favorite wrestlers. And you always want to see your favorite wrestler, like, just prosper, period. So, but at the same time, I get real scared and skeptical about what they're going to do with these particular men and women once they do get to the main roster. Because you see too many times, like, they get there and they're awesomely pushed at first, and then they're not. You know, they kind of fall, not to the wayside, but just in the middle somewhere. And they're kind of like, okay, they get the exposure, but they're not necessarily like being pushed. They're just kind of there in the mix.
Right.
And I don't want that happening to Joe or Nakamura. Like, I really want them to, like, really get to shine, you know, so...
No Apollo Crews.
Like, all right, like, please don't. Oh my God, just don't do that. You know, I hated it for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really seriously still hate the way they did Apollo Crews. Like, it was like, why did you even move him? Like, you could have kept him in NXT if you were going to do him like this. You know, not because he sucks or anything like that. Like, that's not even a case. It's more so of, if you didn't really have anything for him, like, you should have just never did that. Like, it just leave him where he was at, let him do his thing, and then when you're really ready to, like, put him in it, I'm not looking for everybody to be main event, because I know that that's not possible, you know?
Right.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm not looking for everybody to be main event. But what I am looking for is for people not to just disappear. After being on the main roster for, like, all of, like, 2 months. Like, I just don't need that happening. So, that's just me. But I digress. Like, me and my random rants just, I swear.
But, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. I'll see them, man. Like, where is my other? So random thought, but I am over here looking for my other sock because I have definitely lost it. Oh, there you go. Never mind. Found it. Okay, we're good. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Right. Let's move on to Survivor Series, and we'll knock out Survivor Series, and we will come down to a break, and then we'll get into Raw, SmackDown, and then I'll let y'all guys go home.
Ooh, this is gonna get interesting. Let's talk about Survivor Series, please.
Right.
This is about to be a very interesting conversation.
So yeah, let's go into Survivor Series. So we go in and we open up the show. There's a Kane defeats Luke Harper in a pre-show match, and that's really not important. Team Raw women take on Team SmackDown women.
Like, I'm literally over here stretching right now because I'm so ready.
Yeah, we go through our progressions. Apparently, people don't like each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
They find a way to make people lose. The tensions in every match, the tensions boiled over, right?
Right. Exactly. They did. It was so thick you couldn't cut it with a knife. Like, I mean, it was just up past the neck, like drowning everybody. Because let's face it, majority of every team couldn't stand each other, and we're not even talking like the Raw versus SmackDown. Like, we're talking like Charlotte can't stand Sasha Banks, like Carmella can't stand Mickie, who got hurt, by the way, before the match even happened. Like, we've yet to figure out who hit Mickie upside the head. Personal theory, I think it was Natalya, but that's just me. Like, that's just personal theory. Like, Natalya did it so she can be on the team. That's a ref on that. So, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but she was so ready to go. Like, hey,
right?
Not like, hey, my friend is hurt. I don't know what to do. Or, hey, can y'all get her some attention? It was like, hey, I don't care what happened to this broad. Hey, y'all need me to go out there?
Right. That's how I saw it. She just happened to, like, magically show up on the scene.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, what happened?
Well, she's supposed to be the coach.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
But you would think
right.
the coach would already be out there, right? Like, what is she doing in the back? Nah, man.
Right. That's how I thought it. Thank you, Keith. I'm glad that someone else seen it the way I saw it. Because I was like, wasn't she supposed to be ringside? Like, what the hell? Because if anything, you're the coach. The first person that need to be out there is you. Like, you need to be out there hustling the rest of the team out there with you so that there's some unity. Why are you in the back? Like, not only are you in the back, but you were the last person to come out. Like, this makes zero sense. So everybody else is already outside waiting on Nikki to get out there. And then you just happen to show up out of nowhere, which got me too, because you weren't even like, you didn't even come in the direction of like going towards the ring. You came from the back area where like the coffee and shit. Like, why were you back there and not nowhere near the ramp? Like, this makes zero sense to me. I said, yeah, she did it. Because then the conversation goes like, I mean, okay, so what are we going to do? Like, should I go out there and take her place? Natalya, good and goddamn well. Like, we know, like, you're going to go out there and take her place. Stop playing. Like, just, seriously? So, yeah, there was that. Like, that got me already. And then, so, like, when the match actually happened, like, I was hoping and praying and crossing all fingers that the teams actually had some kind of cohesiveness, even though we still seen like the blind tags and, you know, like the I can't stand you tags where, you know, they just kind of slap somebody in and yeah. So of course there was that, but I want to say that I hated how Naomi got eliminated.
Yeah.
Because that was brutal. That was brutal. Lord help me. Like, that was brutal. Keith, did you see that? Like,
yeah.
Like, Naomi, no. Like, Jesus. So, I mean, because Alicia Fox had pinned Carmella, and then who pinned Alicia? Was it Alexa Bliss or like who pinned Alicia Fox? It was somebody else that took her out, and I was just kind of like, okay, but the way that Naomi was eliminated was just, oof, that was harsh. Like that was really hard to take. But yeah, so. It was, to me, and all in all, like, to just kind of sum it up, I thought that the whole entire match in entirety was awesome. I thought it was really competitive for the women, and I was thoroughly impressed. Like, I mean, I was excited to watch that. And there was not one point in time in that match that I wanted to just kind of, like, fast forward and be like, okay, end this already. Like, no, it was greatness all the way around. So I applaud them for starting off Survivor Series with this match in its entirety.
Yeah, I thought it was a good vehicle for Nia Jax. I mean, she kicked a lot of people around.
Oh, yeah. She annihilated the team at one point. So, yeah. Go Nia. But how did... You know, I really seriously was wondering how they was going to eliminate her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I really was like, how are y'all going to get rid of Nia Jax? Because she's, like, literally, like, just killing the SmackDown team.
They did it with a... This is how I would have booked her. I would have booked her kind of similar to Braun Strowman, where she would have been outside doing something crazy, and she just got counted out.
Right.
That way she'll have to actually take an actual loss.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But, I mean, I don't totally disagree with it because I think it was like... But they needed her to do something, like, heelish after the fact. So,
yeah.
Like, I'm glad that did happen. Because had she just, like, took the loss and then just got out the ring, then it would have just been like, no. Like, why do you even build up Nia to do all that to be completely taken out this way? Like, that just shouldn't happen. So, I'm glad that they at least put that little end in the twist on it. Mm-hmm. But it was Team Raw that won. Yay. Because I definitely predicted that. We both did. We both definitely said Team Raw was going to win this. Because, I mean, in all honesty, I didn't think Team SmackDown had a shot. So, I do want to say that Becky Lynch shined as bright as the belt that she wears. Like, Becky was a fighter. Like, she was awesome. But it was the Bayley the Belly that did it for them. So we get the hand. Charlotte and Bayley were the survivors, right? And then we get the celebration at the end. They get their hands raised. So you think, you know, it's going to be like, yay, and then they're going to walk to the back, and that's going to be the end of it. Nah, Charlotte just had to shine and just beat the shit out of Bayley. Like, seriously? Like, really, though? I was actually upset about this because I actually liked Bayley's outfit that night. So I was just kind of like, and it was just me being a woman. But I was like, really, Charlotte? Like, did you really have to attack her? Or did that just, was like, that's just impulse. Like, oh no, you can't have this moment. Then you realize after the fact, like, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. She just couldn't let Bayley have, like, half of the moment. Like, she just had to have the entire moment.
Right.
Because, yeah, Charlotte got the pin. No, it wasn't you, Charlotte. It was Bayley. Like, seriously. Like, she just couldn't let her have them. Like, even part of the moment. Like, it was like, no. Like, literally after the hand was raised, Bayley got a forearm to the face. Like, it was just like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like, not even a little bit. Like, this didn't even go on for 5 minutes before you was, like, beating her face in. Like, what the?
Yeah. We move on. Miz defended the title against Sami Zayn.
He did.
The IC title stays on SmackDown.
Yes, it does.
Maurice interfered. She went out and actually rung the bell, having Sami Zayn thinking Miz tapped, and then it flipped over that Miz didn't tap. The ref was distracted, and Miz got the pin. Here's my thing. I could go with that booking, but in a brand versus brand thing where we're talking about a title coming over to the other brand, I don't get why there was no Raw protest.
Exactly.
Stephanie McMahon, even though she doesn't like Sami Zayn, should have came out, turned her back, and was like, yo, this is bullshit. Let's restart this match. Shane would have come back, being a babyface, and would have had to agree. And they would have to ban Maurice for ringside. And then they could have finished the match still with Miz cheating and beating Sami Zayn.
Right. But
it's just like, yo, she just won the bell and like, oh, sorry. Didn't know I did that.
Right.
And got away with it.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I really seriously, literally just hated that moment. I did. Because you're right. This is a brand versus brand match. Like, this is not for the IC title. Like, this is a determination factor of where the IC title is going. And I couldn't stand the fact that Maurice was out there in the first place. Like, in all honesty, I hate her being out there during matches. Like, I understand the whole heel factor and everything, like, when it's just a SmackDown match. Like, when it's The Miz versus someone else from SmackDown, I get it. It's understandable. But this whole match in itself was Raw versus SmackDown. And, like, she shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right.
Like, in my own personal opinion, she shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right.
But then y'all allowed her to be out there. And you knew she was going to interfere. Like, there was no way no one did not know that. Like, you see it every week on SmackDown. You see it at every SmackDown pay-per-view. You see it every time. Ever since he's been the IC champion, you've seen it. Like, period. Before Dolph's reign, after Dolph's reign, like, all the way in between. Like, you've seen it. So why is it that you don't prevent this from happening when we get to Survivor Series? Like, seriously. It irked me so bad because I was just waiting for that moment where she was going to do something, and I was so pissed. I was like, seriously. And you're right. What made it worse was the fact that no one said anything.
No.
Like, Sami lost, and then that was just it. Like, it was just like,
pretty much. Yeah, like, they was like, okay, yada, yada, move on.
Right.
So, the tag teams were next. Team Raw defeated Team SmackDown, with the last team standing being Sheamus and Cesaro. Which, they morphed into quite a team. Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily like the experiment at first, but it's grown on me. But yeah, they were the sole survivors.
Yeah, I had to take a moment because Okay, so I'm gonna go to first things first. You're right, Cesaro. Well, I actually was really. I did question Cesaro and Sheamus being a tag team, but now I'm all up in for it. Like, I'm completely into it now. So I've been into it ever since, like, I seen that first match. Like, it's not necessarily because it's just them two together, but the way that they kind of play off each other, I think is greatness. The whole hatred for each other is like motivation to work together thing is like awesome to me. So I think that this whole tag team thing with them is genius, you know? The next thing. So how do you have the captains get eliminated first? Like, that to me was like, no. You know?
Well, Captain was overrated experience anyway in this thing. The New Day, because they were goofy.
Right.
Slater and Rhino. similar gag. But, you know, it was decent. Brian Kendrick defeated Kalisto to keep the title due to Baron Corbin's interference. Baron Corbin laid waste to everybody in the ring, but apparently since he hit Brian first, Kalisto was disqualified. Brian kept the title.
And again, no one said anything. Nothing. Because, forget the fact, a SmackDown guy just cost SmackDown I guess that's probably why. Because it was a SmackDown guy that cost SmackDown the Cruiserweight Championship and the Cruiserweight division. So, of course, Daniel Bryan confronted Baron Corbin in the back, but, you know, that didn't do too much of anything.
Right.
So, that's that.
Right. But the Cruiserweight title stays on Raw, which I thought was not going to happen because of 205 Live, which debuts next week. Well, this coming Tuesday, actually. But yeah, apparently it doesn't matter. Team SmackDown Men defeated Team Raw, which I thought got us to the biggest pops of the night, because that all disintegrated. Personal biases got in the way of everybody.
It was the greatest thing ever. In my own personal opinion, it was the greatest thing ever. I'm not gonna lie. When I seen Dean and AJ going at it, like, it was awesome. I was like, yes, like, it. I wasn't cheering because I thought it put an advantage for the other team. It was an advantage for the other team. I was cheering because I was waiting for like a cap to blow off, just the lid to just be gone. Because it was so much. You put 5 people that can't stand each other on a team together. Like, with SmackDown, there was only 2 that you can honestly say, like, could work together. And at this point, it was Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. So, like, it's like, you knew with everybody else, there was a possibility for combustion. With the Raw team, it was just as bad, except for with the Raw team, it was Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho that were the only 2 that you knew. Well, there was Roman and Seth also, but you knew there was the potential of them, like, exploding also. So when there was actual, like, explosions in the match, little bombs going off, it was awesome. It was greatness, because those were the moments when I figured, like, someone was going to get shafted and completely, like, fed to the other team.
Yeah.
You know?
Easily Shane McMahon's MVP, right? Like, we could really safely say that.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, elbow, broad, and all this stuff. And I feel for him because he got concussed for real. Like when the ref was like, I'm not even gonna count to 3. Fuck it, and we need to get some help.
Right.
Like that's where it went. It went there very quickly. Like, oh, we need to get some help.
Right. He started counting, but then once he seen him, he was like, "There's no point for this. Somebody please just get out here. Please help this man." You know, like, yeah, no, he needs some serious help. And I actually paused too because I was like, okay, what just happened? Like, I was confused because I didn't know what was actually going on until like they were able to get Shane out the ring and like walk him to the back. Like, I was like, okay, what? So, and then once it was announced that he was eliminated, I was like, okay, like, I understand that, but is he hurt? Like, what happened? Like, because he didn't continue to count, so I was like, what is this? Like, what happened? But now, and then I understood it after the fact. I was scared for him. So, I mean, of course they didn't show this on the actual show, but I seen a picture like the next day of Randy Orton like walking off to the side, and of course it wasn't in camera shot, so you didn't see it if you were watching the show. But Randy Orton walked to the side and kind of broke character so that he can tell like Shane's kids like he's all right, you know, because it was a scary moment. It was a scary moment for everybody. Of course, the match didn't necessarily stop, like, but at the same time, it was a little terrifying. Like, it was like, okay, Shane, like, we know you can take some bumps, but damn, like,
right? No. So the match starts devolving, and we get down to the final 2, where it's like Rollins and Reigns. Well, you know, it wasn't final 2 because we still had on the other side. We probably had 3 because we had AJ.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
It was AJ with the Wyatts, right? Until AJ found his fate through a powerbomb by the Shield reunion. Because Ambrose comes out to the ring and security attacks Ambrose. Then you see Reigns and Rollins get security off of him. I'm like, oh, snap. Because remember, we were promised a Shield reunion in 2016.
Right.
I'm not going to say promised. That was a rumor mill. Well, we got to the end of 2016, and damn, we ain't get no reunion. But
no, not at all. Yeah.
We might be getting in there. So, Reigns and Rollins did that, and we got rid of AJ, and it was 2-2. Wyatt's and Shield. We backed down to that. And but we got Dean Ambrose out of here too quick, so Luke Harper showed up.
Oh, that pissed me off so bad. I was like, come on, man. I was like, come on, man. Did we really have to do this? He did, though. And he was a hand. And he did play, of course he played a hand in the match. Because why else would he be there? It really grinded all of my gears because I was just kind of like, dude, like, who's writing this stuff? Like, no, man. No. Like, I just need everybody to be banned from ringside, like, period. You know? Like, I really just seriously was just kind of like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me.
Right. It ends up with, you know, Reigns and Rollins get eliminated, the Wyatts win it. And I think that's the most important match for the brands, right?
Right.
Then we got to the main event. Goldberg versus Brock. Very highly anticipated. People was on the edge of their seat. Keith, this one, I didn't know how long it was going to go. I thought they might do 15 minutes. And I was just like, okay, well, at the back end, it's not that bad because 4 hours was a lot to do and take. Like, it started at 7, and that wasn't a pre-show. Pre-show was at 6. It's a lot of freaking wrestling to take in. But the Goldberg did us all a favor. Was like, bang, bang! Match over. I said, what? Literally, I'm on the computer showing Lynn something, and I'm like, all of a sudden, it's over.
Right. you look over, you blink, and it's like, wait. But I was only gone for like 2 seconds. Like, what really just happened here? I went into this match anticipating them to just destroy each other, right? Like, I really wasn't looking for like total dominance from either person. I was looking for there to be like a back and forth thing. Like, I was literally looking for there to be a constant like back and forth between the two. Yeah. So when I watched it, because I was told about it before I actually seen it, so like it was like, okay, because I didn't watch. And for anybody that is trying to question what I just said, like, I didn't watch Survivor Series when Survivor Series actually happened. Like, I watched it like the next day, so I was told about the match beforehand, but I didn't believe it. Like, I was like, you can't be serious. Like, you're exaggerating. And then I watched the match, and I said, okay, are you serious? Like, wait a minute. Because, of course, you know, they did the entrances, and they did the announcements, and, you know, the bell rung, and, like, it was literally like, okay, ram into the corner. Goldberg looked at Brock like he was just stupid. Push down, spear 1, spear 2, jackhammer, it's over. Like, wait a minute. Like, I had to watch that like 3 times to make sure that I thought I missed something. Like, I literally seriously thought I had missed something the first time that I watched it. I said, okay, did I like doze off? Am I not paying attention? Like, what happened? Like, is that it? Like, is it really over? Like, it was over. Like, it was just over. You know?
With that being said, generally you got to wait till Raw to figure out why it happened like that. And I think they did that to drive up the rating. Because it's like, oh, wow, what's going on? Because, I mean, we built Brock for 5 years. So
exactly.
It kind of is a testament. So 2 part-timers, one like 50, might be the biggest stars of your company. That's going to suck.
Right. True.
But with that, on this back end, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back.
I've got to confront you. I know in the absence of John Studd and King Kong Bundy, how do you get yourself in this kind of a mess? A handicap match with Hillbilly Jim and Andre the Giant, 2 men facing 3. Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, and yourself. You aren't.
Well,
nervous, aren't you?
No, I'm not nervous. I just want to collect my thoughts and make sure everything I say is understood properly. Because it's obvious the World Wrestling Federation here doesn't listen to me, and they don't care about me. Yes, I am a gifted athlete and a wrestler, but I don't particularly care to wrestle, and they know that. The whole thing is between Andre and the Hillbilly and Studd and Bundy. And just because some goon at 7'4" and 500 pounds and some dumb hick from Mud Lick put their 2 heads together with an IQ of 10, they want me in the ring. They want to get their hands on Studd. They want to pick up that money for a slam. They want to get rid of Bundy because they're jealous of his size and massiveness. And they want to get rid of me because they're jealous of me. My whole life, everybody's been jealous of me. Everybody's been worried about me my whole life. They've done this to me. They've done this to me. Don't you call me Weasel either, pal.
No, I didn't. I said you're paranoid.
No, you called me Weasel and I heard you.
I said you're trying to weasel out of this match.
No, I didn't try to weasel out. I just don't want to have anything to do with this match. I want to sit down that chair. I want to guide my men. I don't want to get in there. I don't want some guy 7'4" putting his dirty, filthy hands on me. I don't want some hillbilly putting his dirty farm hands on me. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And you think it's a handicap because there's 2 of you against 3 of us. It's a handicap in your part. Because, Andre, you were carried out of the Maple Leaf Guards in Toronto. And Hillbilly Jim, you thought you stole the Manager of the Year award from me and gave it to Albano. And you didn't, because I'm Manager of the Year. And they carried you out of there, too, after that. They carried out Albano. And I'm going to guarantee you something. Thursday, on the 12th of December, they better not bring any ambulances there to the Oakland Coliseum. They better bring some big dumpster trucks where they haul the garbage out. Because that's what they're going to carry Andre out of there with and the Hillbilly. Because Studd and I and Bundy are walking out of there. And don't you call me Weasel. Somebody's just calling me Weasel here. Somebody's calling me Weasel.
It must be from behind there. Fans, don't miss it in Oakland on the 12th. Weasel!
We are back. It is our birthday segment. And I see how birthdays drape out the end of November, Keish. To be honest with you, not a lot. 2 days ago was Thanksgiving. Well, yesterday was Thanksgiving. Beth Phoenix had a birthday. Ivory has a birthday on Saturday, probably when you will hear this podcast. And on Sunday, the British Bulldog, the late British Bulldog, celebrates they celebrate his birthday. He would have been 54.
Right.
And on Monday, do you know Eric Rowan and Summer Rae both share birthdays?
Really?
Yes. They are both born on November 28th, 2 years apart. Rowan is 35. Ray will be 33 on Monday. Now, if you want to get to Tuesday has a long list of birthdays.
Really?
And probably might challenge for one of the greatest wrestling birthday days ever. All right, Dana Brooke is going to be 28 on Tuesday. No, I'm sorry. On Tuesday, the 29th. Guess who else?
Tuesday.
Yeah, JBL will be celebrating a birthday. JBL turns 50 on Tuesday. Zeb Coulter and Jerry Lawler both share a birthday. I mean, and I say share a birthday. He was born on the same day of the same year. On Tuesday, November 29th. Both born in 1949.
Oof.
So that makes them both will turn 67. So, yeah, it's going down on Tuesday. SmackDown Live, 205 Live. They need to celebrate some birthdays. And Dana Brooke is a SmackDown person. So, hey, you know what I mean? No, sorry, Dana Brooke is Raw. I just confused her with Alexa Bliss that quick. Yep, just did it.
Ooh.
And they're totally different people. You know what I mean? They're just blind. They really are. Totally different. Because Dana is, yeah. Okay. That was an Uncle Creepy moment.
I'm not dealing with you.
For news, the news is really light this week. But it's Thanksgiving, right?
Don't worry. I got some stuff to add to it. So
okay,
let's do this.
There is a person who believes he should have been included in the WWE video game, and his name is Scott Steiner.
Why?
He feels slighted that Goldberg was put into the game, and that he should also have put himself in the game.
Scott Steiner.
Yes, sir.
Word. Okay. Like, that's just pretty much like how I want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
So, hey,
big news. Shinsuke Nakamura will challenge Samoa Joe for that title again. So they will have a rematch in 2 weeks in Osaka, Japan. I can see Nakamura winning the belt back in Japan. Also,
I can see it too.
Did we talk about his interest for Takeover, Keish?
No, we didn't. We did not mention how he had all the violins everywhere around the ring and coming all the way down. And
when he did it with Ivy, it was like for Dallas, it was like, oh, that is hot. How do I top having to do with a violin follow me? I have 30 violinists. Just,
exactly.
Okay, sorry. Had a moment. Yeah.
I'm not dealing with you.
I would love to do, man, in case you understand. Do that, and then like you grab the side of the desk and you lean back like you do. Even though, like at this age and this weight, I cannot do nothing like that because I would probably snap something. Like, I don't want y'all to hear something go and then me not get up. That would be embarrassing.
Oh, man.
Man, let me tell you something. My mind in my body don't know what's what together. Like, I was locked out the house the other day, right? Because I gave my keys up and I came out of work, whatever, nobody was here. So I text and it's like, hey, check the back door. So I got to go behind the crib, whatever. And the thing was locked anyway. So this was, I couldn't push the door because I got something blocking that, right? Just for the purpose of having.
Right.
I'm like, I could just jump over the little rail thing. It ain't that high. Keish, when I jumped over, got on the other side, every muscle in my body hurt instantly. I was pretty sure I pulled a hamstring. Like, I was like, I've done this 1,000 times before, but it was 20 years ago. I've jumped over things higher than this, but it was 20 years ago. And I didn't jump, like I propped myself up there, and then I kind of went over. Also, it was 20 years ago and about 100 pounds ago. You know what I mean? Doing something at 170 pounds is a lot different than doing it at 270 pounds, I found out. But in my mind, I still think I'm the same person. So I just tried to do it, and it was like, can I just lay here and hope that I don't die?
Right.
Like, it'll heal, Lord, won't it? Like, it's... I was carrying something out of work today, and I was like, oh, wow. I now know what it feels like if you think your back is about to go out. Yeah, it just... Oh, man. The mind, though. The mind think it's still there. Mind think it's still 1997. Body's like, no, fool, it's 2016. It is so 2016, fool. You don't understand. You need to get you a hover round. Like, it's going down. Like, you need to save your joints. You know what I mean? Because you ain't got so many days walking left.
Can you get your life together? Like, seriously.
Yeah, I need to get it together. I got to drop this weight. This fat is getting in the way of a lot. That's like when I did the 5K with Lynn, and I would speed up. When she sped up and she slowed down, she was like, "You scared me, Daddy. You like you about to tip over." I said, "Yeah, because I ain't used to all this weight pulling me forward. I might tip over." Boy, I was like, Nicole took a video, man. I was straight Forrest Gumping it. But I digress. So yeah, that happened. So Keith, you got news?
Okay. So first thing I'm gonna bring up is Shelton Benjamin. He gives an update of his injury. He announced that he actually just put out a tweet. He put out a tweet that said that he does plan to come back to WWE when he's at 110%. His doctor and him are both estimating that he'll be ready to return in 4 to 6 months. So that is how that is. I mean, if anybody don't know what his injury is, he went into surgery to repair a torn rotator cuff. So right now they're just kind of waiting until that heals and everything. He's 100% and ready to go for his return. Because, I mean, you don't want somebody to make their return at like 50, 60. You know, that's just because then he still wouldn't be clear to wrestle, not necessarily. So that is the update with Shelton Benjamin. So he's still planning to come back. He's still planning to make his return. It's just going to be another 4 to 6 months before that happens.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully speedy recovery for my man, because people was excited when they saw the promos for him coming to SmackDown. It was like, oh, it is going down. Then it was like, yeah, maybe not.
Right.
So, stuff happens though, right?
Right. Exactly. According to ProWrestling.net, Steve Corino will be finishing up with Ring of Honor in December, and then will become a full-time trainer at the WWE Performance Center in January. He recently spent time with the WWE Performance Center as a guest trainer. So he will be coming on full-time at the beginning of the year. Randy Orton, for those of you that don't know, just had another baby girl this past week. Brooklyn Rose is 8 pounds and very healthy. He posted a picture on Twitter, I think. Yeah, he tweeted a picture of her. She's very beautiful. So congratulations, Randy Orton. Okay. And my last thing for the news is Austin Aries just had a titanium plate put in his face. We've all know that he's been on the injury shelf because of the kick to the face that he received by Nakamura. And the titanium plate is actually it's right at the eye socket, like where he was kicked. So that's it's a titanium lining. It's not like an actual plate, but he actually tweeted a picture of the x-ray, like where you could see the plate in his face. Right. And from the way it looks like, the titanium lining is like right there where the socket starts. So yeah, that's where it's been at. Of course, once that's healed and everything, then he'll be back. As he put it, it's just a temporary setback, but this is a permanent fixture in his face. I didn't really seriously, Keith, did not realize that these kicks can be that brutal if miscalculated. A titanium lining in the face. Man. But that's all I got for the news. Okay. One more thing. Of course I have to have one more thing, right? Tyson Kidd will no longer be shown on Total Divas. Apparently he will not be appearing on this season because, in his own words, what he tweeted was pretty much that WWE does not want to disclose his injury, why he was injured. And in order to do that, then that's why they're kind of removing him from the show in its entirety. And so that it wouldn't be discussed. As we all know, from my understanding, he was injured during a match. A career injury, pretty much what is determined to be a possibly career-ending injury during a match against Samoa Joe in mid-2015. So, he says that WWE does not want to address the injury or how it happened. So he's been taken off of the show. So once the season starts, you will not see him on the show. Yeah,
I can tell you, Bayley is like this. Him and Joe had a match. This was Joe early time in the WWE. Joe went for the Muscle Buster. Yeah, I don't know if it was careless or not. Video has surfaced. It's up for your interpretation. That's how I put it. It's up for your interpretation, how you feel. And if you think that's what happened. But, yeah, people feel like things were careless and how they happened.
Right.
So, and they don't want to talk about it. And they don't want you to see that he probably still is in a brace and his neck is still jacked up.
As he put it himself, he believes he don't want this situation to be explained, and that's where he's going to leave it at. Personally, in my own personal opinion, you know, we know that things happen during matches, whether intentional or unintentional. Like, it's always a possibility. But I've never seen the video. I didn't know what happened to him. Or personal side on like what happened and what didn't happen. All I know is that it just sucks. Like, I think that's the best way to put it. You know, like, and it's like, in my own opinion, from all I know, it just sucks. Like, it's awful either way it goes, and I can understand why you wouldn't want it explained or, you know, put out there the way it is, because there have been questions. I have had questions, you know, in the recent past and all that, like, about Tyson Kidd and like where he is, and will there ever be him and Cesaro again, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot to take in, but to know that he won't be on this season of Total Divas does raise the question of, like, how serious is this injury? So it is what it is. But that's all I got for the news. That's it. Right. I'm done. So.
All right. We'll go to Raw and SmackDown. We're gonna gloss over. We're gonna do it really quick, right? Because I know y'all want to go home. We want to go home. I say go home like everybody ain't at home. I don't know. Hey, man, I'm not used to doing this. I'm not used to a live show. I hope there ain't too many mistakes, because guess what? I'm not editing nothing. This is the thing about going live, too. Like, I ain't editing nothing. Whatever it is, it's staying on the show.
Exactly.
It's staying in.
I mean, I personally think it's just going to be entertaining anyway. So I think we're good.
Yeah. So, yeah. We set it up. We did what we had to do.
Right.
So, yeah. Let's get to this. Goldberg is declared for the Royal Rumble. So, when you was wondering, like, why did he squash Brock? Which I don't think he had to squash Brock to do this. But
no, he didn't.
But maybe that's what they... This is how they sit at a point. And I guess he's got to be a favorite for the Royal Rumble. But in knowing booking, he's probably... I don't know. I guess if you're just a fan of just watching, you think, oh, Goldberg got to be a favorite. I'm pretty sure something's going to happen to cheat him out of the Rumble.
Exactly.
Right. And that's going to be his match at WrestleMania. Whatever happens to screw him out of that Rumble turns into his WrestleMania match.
I mean, I just don't think that, because, you know, Keith, me and you talked about this. We talked about this when we were together for Thanksgiving. Like, Goldberg could have taken that loss at Survivor Series and still been good for Royal Rumble. So it was really unnecessary for that to happen. You know, we talked about this. You just mentioned it. Like, I'm going to reiterate it a little bit, but I just didn't think that, I'm not going to lie, I didn't think that it was going to continue. Like, when he came out there to start Raw off, that's when I kind of figured, like, okay, this is when it started to click in my mind, like, all right, so this is not over, you know? Well, because I'm not going to lie, like, I thought it was done. Yeah. I really did. I thought it was done.
Yeah, word on the street was this. They have finalized the deal at the last second. Like, there was going to probably be a different outcome for that match. Right. But they were like, hey, we're we got this new deal, and we're gonna figure out a way to make this work.
I did read about that earlier today. I actually looked at that earlier today. It was more so like Goldberg was set up to take that loss until he signed that new deal, and then they changed it, and it was just kind of like, are you serious? But I personally didn't think that it was necessary. Like, was the change really necessary to make just because of that? But I don't know. All I know is now we have Goldberg in a Royal Rumble match. So there's that. And I have to really wonder, like, you know, how far are you about to take this for real? So that's what I want to know. Because when he said title run, I was like, are you really finna give Goldberg the belt? Like, let's be honest. Like, let's just be real about this situation. Are you really going to give him the belt? Like, or are we just sitting here talking speculation of excitement and anticipation for something that's not going to happen? Like, I just want to know.
Well, no, I mean they're not going to put the strap on Goldberg. You can not worry about that.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is this: they have to sell it like that. Because why else would he come back? So he can't just be coming back for fun. Like, the idea is that he's coming back to be champ. So because he's going to be, you got to give him main event status. So he has to get into a collision course with somebody else that's main event status to create another big money main event that will satisfy both domestic and foreign investors.
Right.
And bring in crowds, domestic and foreign. So, other than that, the New Day defended their titles successfully against Cesaro and Sheamus. I really felt like Cesaro and Sheamus should have won that match.
Cesaro had tweeted like right after the match was over, and the tweet said, "I'm tired of it." Like, so the question is, what is he tired of? Like, is he tired of losing as a tag team? Is he tired of Sheamus? Like, is he tired of the New Day? Like, what is he tired of? Inquiring minds would love to know, like, what's really going on.
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess we'll see how it plays out. But Cesaro and Sheamus should have won that match.
Yeah, I agree.
There were a lot of shenanigans, and the New Day basically went out as heels because Xavier Woods had to jump on the rope with the horn and all that stuff. You come in with the expectation of fighting 3, and you go with that. So that happened. Also, your friendly reminder: the New Day are going to break Demolition's record for the longest rated tag team in the WWF. Because why? Vince is petty. You jumped on that lawsuit. That's your ass. Right. Also,
but
that's why I go be no Magnum PI reruns.
Like, I mean, I understand. Okay, what's the best words I can use for this? I understand this is pettiness, but come on, man. Like, we are to me, I feel like we're destroying perfectly good matches because you want to be petty. Like, seriously. Just let it go, like, already. Just seriously. Because perfectly good outcomes and expected outcomes and, like, greatness. Because you being petty, man. Like, come on. Like, we could have then had new tag team champions, like, and just let this circulate. No, like, you're being, because you want to be petty, the New Day still has the belt. Like, seriously. Let it go already. That's just personal opinion. Like, just let it go already. So, I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm glad that the New Day will go down in history as the longest reigning tag team champions. Okay, that's awesome. But did it have to be out of pettiness? Like, did it really have to be this way? That's what I want to know. Because Cesaro and Sheamus deserve this moment right now, and they don't have it because you're being petty. And then they have to wait like another 2-3 weeks. I think it's like about 3 weeks that they'd be when they break the record. So probably at the next pay-per-view, if I calculated correctly, is when the New Day will drop the belts.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. Cedric Alexander defeated Little Davari in a cruiserweight match. Rusev defeated Enzo in a match
with ease.
With ease, because Enzo was in the hallway naked and a lot of came through. Here's the thing, Keish. Why does Enzo got to take these L's?
That's what I want to know.
Look, if you take him and protect him and put him somewhere, let him win a little bit, get his confidence going, and keep Big Cass, I think you'll be on to something. Because the thing is, successful tag teams have to have somebody that does something. So if you got a power guy, you got to be technical. But also, he needs to be a little bit bigger, and he needs to just not make that many mistakes.
Yeah, this is true. I agree. I definitely agree. If you separate the two for a second and let him just, I not necessarily separate, like, make them singles competitors, but just, like, have him in singles matches and, you know, taking some dubs for a while, then he'll be good. You know, I think they'll be good. So, and we will understand them as a tag team. But right now, it's just kind of like Big Cass with Enzo. And that's not necessarily how you want to be the whole time.
No, not at all. But I get it, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think Enzo take too many losses. Here's the thing. I think he could be a badass cruiserweight.
Right. Exactly. I think he'd be an awesome cruiserweight, but they just have to have him compete, you know? Like, have him compete in the division and let him win. Let him take some wins over a few of the cruiserweights. I mean, he'll be greatness after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because I think eventually what's going to end up happening is they're still going to be a tag team, but then they're going to both have some. I think one day Enzo would possibly be a cruiserweight champion, you know? Just like I can see Cass winning, like, the U.S. title.
Right.
I personally can see them winning singles titles, but not necessarily breaking up as a tag team.
Right.
Because we've seen it so many times in the past. They won't necessarily hate each other or anything like that. It's just that they would be in singles competition as a tag team. So,
right.
I could see that happening. I do see that happening. And I definitely I would be excited about that for Enzo. But Enzo has to look like a great competitor. Like, he has to look credible. And you can't make a competitor look credible if he's losing all the time. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Of course you can't make them look credible as a tag team if Enzo always taking L's. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I think you wasted those mic skills. Gallows and Anderson, the club, defeat Gold Truth to be number one contenders for the tag team titles. My question, well, I know how they got here, but really? Gold Truth?
Yeah. exactly.
But they got a tag match because I guess they couldn't find people to do it. So
Yeah, like, because you don't have any other tag teams, right? So, sorry, I'm in my feelings right now. But anyway, because I'm really seriously like, because you really just don't have any other tag teams right now to put in the face. We're going to go into the next thing because I'm done ranting and raving right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman defeats Sami Zayn in a squash match that was set up as punishment for Sami Zayn not winning the IC title. Mick Foley was reluctant to set that match, but Stephanie McMahon said, "Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do because you work for me."
But see, here's my thing, and this is what's us getting back to Survivor Series, right? Keith, you brought this up, so I'm going to repeat it. You did not lift a finger to defend Sami when Maurice pretty much cheated for The Miz. Because that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. But yet, you get to Raw, and then you decide to punish him for something that was outside of his control. Are you serious? Like, how do you not defend him? Your own employee now, because this man works for you. You don't defend him, but yet you punish him for something that he really necessarily didn't do. It wasn't Sami's fault for Maurice interfering. And you've seen it because you were back there watching. You were back there watching. You saw it. You didn't say anything about it. And then you decide the next night that instead of, like, telling him that you understood or, like, trying to pep him, no, you decide you're going to have him destroyed because of that. Now, I understand being mad if he would have lost the match on his own, but that's not what happened. You never defended it. You never said anything about it. No one came out to his rescue, to defend him, nothing. Everybody just left him hanging, like, oh, Sami, my bad, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Seriously? But then the next night, you decide, well, you got to pay for that.
Right.
Seriously? Like, I seriously was like, really? But then again, it's Stephanie McMahon. So, can you expect anything less than that? Like, let's just be real.
Well, that's the thing. She can't stand him. So that's how that works. While I'm doing the show, Keish, Fidel Castro died. Did I know that?
I'm watching it. I am watching it on the TV right now, and I wasn't going to bring it up until we were done. Until we were done with the review, but since you did, yeah,
real life, man.
Yeah, like they are doing a special report right now on ABC. Like they had on Nightly News, but they literally just cut it off to do a special report on it. They're still talking about it. They got a few reporters talking at this moment. So yeah.
His relations with the United States is very interesting. If you are a history buff or you love political science, I would definitely implore you to look up some things on the Cuban Revolution, to look up how he came to power and ousted that dictator Batista. Look up how, here's the thing. Castro is a very complicated legacy. Depending on who you are, you think he's probably one of the most evil people on earth. Depending on who you are, you may think that he is some type revolutionary figure. I know a lot of people in left-wing groups here see him as a little bit differently than the people who are from Cuba and something. And there's people from Cuba who that man has a wide range of people and emotions that attach to him. Right. But all are fascinating. and I would implore you to do some studying and learning. There are some people who probably are rejoiced in this news, and there are some people who are very sad. But without anything, it's a historical moment in our time in the zeitgeist of what we're doing. Because, hey, that is, wow. I never thought about it because he's just always been around. But, yeah. So, yeah, Fidel Castro passed away. You ready for wrestling some more?
I am.
All right. Sasha Banks and Bayley defeat Nia Jax and Charlotte in tag action. Rich Swann defeats TJ Perkins and Noam Dar to become number one contender for the Cruiserweight title. Even though he's already beaten Brian Kendrick 2 times on his own or pinned him, so he should probably be the number one contender. Even though quiet is kept, I cannot stand Rich Swann. I didn't like him on the Indies. I think he, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe like I got some old man hate somewhere.
Right.
Well, not somewhere. It's pretty much out there, right? Because I've obviously tapped into it. Kevin Owens defeats Seth Rollins for the title in a no DQ match. This is interesting because Rollins and Reigns are going to have to reconcile because I think they both want the belt, but they both got it. They know they got to get rid of Jericho and Owens, and for both of them to be successful, they're going to need each other. But they both want to be champ.
Right. It's like we got to be together on this, and then once we get to the big day, it's just every man for himself type thing.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to look at it.
I mean, I seriously just, I don't know how else that's going to happen because you're right. Jericho is going to have the back of Kevin Owens, like, period. So as long as these two are a cohesive team, no one else is getting that title. Like, it's just not going to happen. Because some way, hook by crook, Jericho's going to interfere, and it's going to be the end of it. Because as we've seen in the past 3 title defenses that Kevin Owens has had against Seth Rollins, that's exactly what has happened. So, and that's including the one on Raw. So, I mean, how else can you really put it except, like, he's not going to be able to, Seth is not going to be able to gain that title back on his own. Roman is not going to be able to gain that title on his own because of this factor called Chris Jericho. I mean, it's possible. Don't get me wrong. There is a way for them to work it to where this can actually happen. But the way that things are going, it's just not going to, so.
But yeah. So that happened. Pretty much Jericho and Reigns were banned from ringside for that match between Rollins and Owens. But Jericho was slick. He appeared in the crowd in a Sin Cara mask.
Right.
The guy, you got to give it to him. Very creative. Because one thing I don't like is people who's supposed to be suspended or go and they come out the back. Like, what, you just back there with the people in charge?
Exactly. Exactly.
They music hit. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not how this works. Or somebody ambush somebody, they music come on. Man, look, give me a head start to get my wallet. Yeah,
that does. That is irritating. Like, an ambush is supposed to be a sneak attack. Like, how can I do a sneak attack if my music's playing? Like, come on, man. Don't do stuff like that. Just, you're ruining it. You're ruining it. It is what it is, though.
Yeah, but
it was interesting, though. Hey, that Sin Cara mask is awesome looking, by the way.
Yes. No shade. That incredible mask. So all in all, I thought Raw was decent.
You're right.
It doesn't live up to post pay-per-view standards, but I guess because they sold the whole cookies with Goldberg coming back.
You're right. That to me was not an exciting moment. Like, I think it's funny because for a lot of people, including some that I've talked to, they're like thoroughly excited about Goldberg coming back. I'm not one of them. Personally, I am not very much a fan of it. I mean, granted, it was exciting for like the moment, but then now it's just kind of like, okay, I think this should have been a one-time thing, and I don't know about this whole contract stuff, you know? I wanted Goldberg to come back like probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Not right now. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I mean...
That's just me. Yeah.
It is what it is at this point.
Right.
So, I guess it's time to move into SmackDown.
I got a question, though, before we do.
Sure, go for it.
So I was talking to Marcus about this, right? And I'm going to put it out there and see what you think of it. So, like, I was talking about how Charlotte had attacked Bayley at Survivor Series, right? And I was like, and this is a question I'm going to pose to you because I don't think I posed it to him, but could you ever see a Bayley heel turn? Like, I'm not saying, like, in the near future or anything like that, like, oh, around Royal Rumble, she's just going to, like, no. I mean, like, period. Because we both know there are superstars that are, like, they're on one side, like, they're just about their entire career. Like, they just don't have... they might have had like one heel run or something like that, maybe, but there have, we've seen cases where that just hasn't happened. So, do you ever see that being a possibility?
With that being said, let's roll into SmackDown. Shane McMahon opens up the show, gives congratulations, go through the thing because they won the 5-man match. Even though they lost most of the matches that they had that night, they still won the one that they deemed most important, and the way they sold it. Right. He offered James Ellsworth a contract for his bravery and getting killed by Braun Strowman. And then AJ Styles shows up. Mind you, Dean Ambrose is acting a monkey and been kicked out like 2 times. AJ says that James don't deserve it. They end up talking each other into a ladder match at the end of the night, basically. This is how you know the booking is off. So Miz had to defend his IC title on Thursday, and he didn't have anything going on, but yeah. So that's what this is, and it was probably because he had to face Kalisto. Him and Daniel Bryan argued it out or whatever, and Miz got to face Kalisto, right?
Right.
Keisha, I ain't a pro wrestler. I ain't scared no damn Kalisto.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like
you never felt like the IC title was in jeopardy.
Right.
You never felt like the IC title was in jeopardy, right?
No, like there was no threat whatsoever. It was just kind of like, okay, and then that was it. Like it was just really, literally, just kind of like. I think he was more so. It was funny when watching it. You can even see Miz like more so annoyed that he actually has to do it, as opposed to like it being because it being the person that he was facing. Like even without. Because during the match there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was an outside interference. So even without all that, like it's just kind of like seriously, Kalisto.
Yeah.
Like I have nothing against Kalisto or anything. It was just kind of like,
And then even with that, Baron Corbin show up at this match. Like, really? Like, we got a problem with a 7-foot dude and a 5'4" dude that's getting out of control. That's what we got essentially going on right now.
Exactly.
American Alpha wins Tag Team Turmoil, which I thought was a very good setup. It was a nice match. They probably clocked the most time because they came in, well, like the third team, because Breeze Dango was the second. You had your two teams in the ring. The Hype Bros pinned Connor and Victor. Then here come the Fashion Police, a.k.a. Breeze Dango. Or is the Fashion Police their name now? Because that actually is better name.
Yeah, that is.
So
that is a better name.
Go ahead with that. The Fashion Police did is American Alpha, and American Alpha runs the table. And then they beat the Usos, which is good revenge.
Right.
But at the end of it, they were told they got another challenge. Apparently, they got to face Bray and Randy next week. On SmackDown. That's going to be interesting.
Right.
And I find it's going to be compelling because you got two. Something's got to give.
Right.
I would love for Bray to get into a title picture. And I think they can play it sell as Randy is helping that focus. Like, let's get in on one of these belts. Because that signifies power. And once you start having power, that's when it becomes a problem.
Right.
Because everybody looks up to them and tries to try to get to the belts. And there's no pathway to it because those dudes are huge. Now they got a cagey veteran who is sadistic in his own mind and will help them figure it all out.
It ain't great. Isn't it greatness? Like, that's just me. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah. So, next week, the Wyatts and American Alpha. That should be very interesting.
That's going to be highly interesting.
Becky Lynch defended her title against Natalya. Alexa Bliss got yapping or whatever. Well, Becky was successful, but then, of course, Alexa Bliss beat her down after the match. I don't know how long some of this stuff going to last, Keish.
Okay, I mean, all right, so I understand, like, the average height for a woman is 5'5". Alexa Bliss is like 5'1". I think she's 5 feet even, actually. The fact that she's consistently beating down Becky Lynch every week, that's kind of a problem for me. Like, I'm going to really need this to stop immediately. Not because of her height. It's not even that. It's more so of, why do you keep having these sneak attacks happen on our champion, people? What is wrong with you? Like, why do you keep having the women's champion, the SmackDown women's champion, constantly attacked? Like, seriously? Like, Alexa Bliss is now just becoming annoying. Like, it's not even a matter of, the attacks itself. It's just more so of she's just becoming annoying. Like, she really is. And I feel like you have a better contender for the women's title than her.
Yeah.
But, I seriously digress. So, I'm not even going to get on, like, how much I'm really starting to not stand it. But, it is what it is. So, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, no doubt. So, Baron Corbin defeats Kane via DQ because Kalisto shows up to his match. And they're tossing around chairs. And apparently next week, when we preview TLC, they're going to have the dreaded chairs match. Which every year I go into a rundown of why I think it is the dumbest thing in the history of Earth.
Yeah.
Like, just don't have, like, really? Like, that's a gimmick. So let's say I drop the chair and I pick up a bat. Is the bat legal now?
Right.
Or I drop the chair and, some rubber stitching cord come out. Is that legal now?
Right.
Let me know.
Exactly. Questions that seriously need to be answered.
Right. Right.
Oh, Lord. I can't. Some of this stuff is really starting to just seriously be questionable,
Right.
I mean, like, to a point where it's just kind of like, I'm sorry, I need to question this. What the hell, Like, seriously, what the hell?
Right.
Especially this Kalisto Baron Corbin thing. Like, seriously, this is what y'all come up with?
Right.
Like, I just don't know. And if I see one more thing with Carmella and Nikki, I swear to you, I'm going to scream, like, to the point where I just want to hit someone in the throat. Like, I don't have time for it. Like, I just don't. They're now going to have a no disqualification match at TLC.
Right.
Seriously?
Hey, man. You gotta sell that pay-per-view no matter what. You gotta fill time.
Well, I hope that it's compelling, because if it's not, I'm going to someone's going to hear from me.
Well, you gotta
I
think,
can't
too,
deal.
it won't be the main event either. They'll reshuffle the deck also.
Well, thank you, Jesus. But
yeah, so I won't go over Bond Soup. And James Ellsworth defeated AJ Styles in the ladder match, Keish. And this wasn't all a bunch of Dean Ambrose cheating.
No, it wasn't actually. It was Ellsworth climbing that ladder and grabbing that contract. I am impressed. Like, can I say that I am impressed? Like,
yeah,
I am impressed. Like, I was like, oh man.
No, I mean, they sold it. They figured it out. They made it work. The ladder was the perfect gimmick. I thought he wasn't going to make it up, but he made it. Like I said, limited interference. It was just a matter of him finding the right spots. And he beat David Andrews.
Now, here's my question. And this is like, of course, I'm pretty sure other people are asking this too. But here's my question. What are they going to do with James Ellsworth on SmackDown? Like, because, I mean, you just gave this man a contract. But what exactly do you plan to do with him in this contract? Like, I just want to know. Like, how far is this going to go for real? So, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, huh? All right. This is going to be an interesting journey. But yeah, that was SmackDown. So
yeah, with that, I think we're done with the week in wrestling. And we are like 2 hours and 8 minutes deep. Keith, we ain't been finishing under 2 hours for nothing.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I don't have nothing to give you to make this show shorter, but hey, I will say this. Y'all getting it for free $99. So you're not paying nothing for it. If you are paying for it, get your money back, and also let me know because I want to sue. But look, anyway, we hope y'all enjoyed the show. We will be back next week. We are previewing TLC. No, sorry. Yes, TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs.
That's right.
I will rant more about why I hate gimmick pay-per-views and how stupid those matches are, and also like how they've diluted the match process and the new matchmaking process. But with all that being said, y'all have a good day. It's probably Saturday, so peace.
Bye.